Today we're making one of my absolute favorite meals, oxtail. I would never have tried oxtail if it hadn't been for the carnivore diet, and I eat a carnivore diet because I have lymphocytic colitis. Hi there! Welcome to My Chronic Illness Journey, episode 19. My name is Shay McIntosh Ford, and I live in Tulsa with my husband, our 2 boys, and our little puppy. Lymphocytic colitis is an autoimmune condition that affects your digestive tract. Very little is known about this condition by most of the medical establishment, and it can not only be difficult to diagnose, but extremely difficult to treat. Everybody reacts differently to different foods. I was diagnosed with lymphocytic colitis last April after my bout with COVID-19. And because it can be so difficult to find information about this condition, I decided to do a vlog on how it affects my day-to-day life. I record what I eat and when, and if I mention a food where I have already recorded a recipe, I will put it in a little eye right here in the top corner. I will also link it down below in the description box. And I drink only water, homemade beef bone broth, and every other day my body allows me to have a single teacup of coffee. I miss my coffee. Though, as you will see, I do drink an occasional glass of organic, no sulfite added Cabernet wine, and this is specifically so that I can fall asleep if I'm in too much pain. I've had to drink too much wine this week. And because colitis is an irritable bowel disease, I will be talking about the more unpleasant parts, specifically every time I have a bowel movement, which I record when that happens as well, because that can be important, especially if it happens right after a meal or right after a specific activity. It can also be more than once a day. Fortunately, I've only had a little bit of an issue with that this week. Last week, I didn't need any antidiarrheals at all. Speaking of antidiarrheals, when I do have a bad trip to the bathroom, I take a gluten-free version of Imodium and Pepto-Bismol. The bismuth tablet tastes a little sweet to me, so my running joke is that it turns into a different dessert every time I take it, because I can't eat any desserts. The most sweet I get, other than bismuth, is the glass of wine, and that's it. Diet most certainly matters with this condition, and I'm trying to figure out what works for me. So far, a very strict carnivore diet works, though I am not eating any dairy or pork or chicken. I have been able to eat some salmon with some pretty good results, but not sashimi, unfortunately. So if you suffer from colitis, I hope that something that I do here or try will help you. So before I start my vlog, I will spend the next 4.5 minutes or so showing you how I make my oxtail. Unfortunately, most of my recipes are with the Instant Pot, which from my perspective is great because the Instant Pot is wonderful for cooking meats, but I know not everyone has a pressure cooker. Maybe one day I will start experimenting with how to make these meats without a pressure cooker, but it really helps to have one. So this first recipe is oxtail. As with all of the recipes so far in my videos, I am so sorry that I can't get the music to play in the background. So you just get to listen to me without the pretty notes behind it. Sorry. And with that said, here's my week. So the first thing you want to do is turn on the saute. And we're going to put some ghee butter in there. You can use ghee, you can use tallow. I just don't have any tallow on hand at this time, so I'm using ghee butter. And I use ghee instead of regular butter because there's no casein in it. One of these days I might try some regular butter, but right now I know that I don't react to ghee. And you just want to let that melt. And we want to make sure that the whole bottom is fully coated, so you're going to move it around a little bit. And I'm going to take my pink Himalayan salt. And again, this is not a frou-frou salt. It is specifically so the spices don't get contaminated, cross-contaminated as they might with regular ground salt. So I make sure I get salt in a grinder. I also make sure that it's a natural salt You don't want to put the meat in right away. You want to wait until it actually says hot on the front. And this is to help keep the meat from sticking to the inside of the pot. It's still going to stick a little bit, but it won't be as bad as if I hadn't let it heat up really high yet. And you want to make sure that you try to set them upright so that the ends are what's getting browned. You're not going to be able to do that with some of them, like that long skinny piece is just going to have to sit on its side. But for the most part, try to get as many of them on end as you can. The small ones, it's really not that big a deal, but as long as they're all getting browned. And you're going to want to let them saute like this for about 5 minutes. All right, the 5 minutes are up, so you want to just go ahead and turn them over, each one. And like I said, it's still going to stick a little bit to the inside of the pot, but it's not that big a deal. It's just easier if the pot's already hot. You also want to make sure that the ones that aren't standing on their ends, you want to at least turn them over to the other side. You still want them to be as browned as they can be. So you're just turning them over. And then again, you're going to want to let them cook for another 5 minutes. Now it's time to add the water. I put in a little over a cup. You want at least a cup to work with the pressure cooker feature. So I'm going to turn off the saute. So just hit cancel because you're going to want to pressure cook, but go ahead and put the lid on first. And you're going to pressure cook it on high for 40 minutes. Once the pressure cooking is done, you want to let it naturally release for 20 minutes. And sometimes that's as much as it needs for that little red indicator to drop down anyway. Otherwise, just go ahead and manually release all that pressure. Take off the lid. And there is our beautiful oxtail steaming up the camera. And it's done. You just take it out and put it on your plate. I ate all of it, the whole thing. It looks like a lot, but there's a lot of bone in there. So, but lots of really healthy fats, collagen, just a really good, solid meal. And it's nice and tender. Really good stuff. And we are not going to let all this wonderful broth go to waste. We're going to go ahead and put it in a couple of jars. It's really only going to take maybe 2 pint jars. It won't fill up both. We'll fill up one and then I'll probably just drink the other with the meal. Good morning. It is Sunday and normally that means liver, but like last week, that's going to be for dinner. This time it's not because the liver wasn't thawed, it's because this is beef heart in ghee butter. I didn't want to risk being hungry too late in the day, having beef heart too close to bedtime, because beef heart is chock full of B vitamins. It can be hard to fall asleep after eating it. I'm doing pretty good. So if you watched last week's episode, went out to dinner with hubby last night. I had raw salmon, so sashimi, that was all I had. I seemed to do okay. I'm a little crampy this morning. I don't know that it was the salmon. It might have been. I don't know, but it's not too bad. We'll see how I do today. So hubby stole the computer, so I'm on my phone, which is why I'm getting in close, but it's time to eat. I'm going to have liver in ghee butter. Probably gonna have some wine. I've been pretty crampy all day. No more salmon sashimi. Just sad. I was really hoping that would work because it was good. It's just raw fish, but it was still good. Hubby loves sushi. It would have been nice to have something else for us to go out for. Apparently not. I'm gonna eat, have a glass of wine, and go straight to bed. I've been pretty uncomfortable all day long. Good morning. Time for breakfast. Beef heart and ghee butter. That's the last of it. It's coffee day. I think I'm feeling better. I'm still uncomfortable. I'm gonna try going to yoga this morning after I drop the boys off at school. We'll see how I'm feeling after that. So I actually started eating about an hour ago. I was in the middle of a Zoom meeting, a writer's group. I didn't want to wait to eat. and most of it's already eaten. I've still got some little bits left on some of the bones there. It's oxtail, and I used ghee butter to cook it. I was really hungry, actually. I started getting hungry about 4. Yoga class went well. I just ended up showing up late by accident. They tried to change the time. When I registered, it was at 10 o'clock, and they tried to change the time to 9:30, which, and then the class started at 9:30, but it didn't register over to my schedule, and so I thought it was at 10. So I showed up a half hour late. It still went well. I mean, and I think the extra activity is what makes me hungry. So I'm gonna keep going. Maybe I can have my 2 meals a day that way. I'm feeling okay, better than before. We'll see how I feel before going to sleep. I did end up buying an extra bottle of wine just in case, because I drank the last of the other bottle last night. Hopefully I won't need it, but I don't know, we'll see. Good morning, time for breakfast. A couple salmon fillets in ghee butter, and I thought about having some coffee this morning because I'm still pretty uncomfortable with the cramping. Today is day 3 since my last bowel movement, but I'm gonna wait. Tomorrow's coffee day, and if I still haven't had a PM, then I'll have coffee the next day. I came very close to having a glass of wine last night, but I didn't. I did struggle to fall asleep. I almost got up and had it anyway. But it was really late, and so I was hoping that just being tired would help me go to sleep. I'm still hurting this morning. In fact, I had a dream last night that I accidentally ate gluten because I was hurting, and gluten makes me hurt like this too. Hopefully I will feel better soon. I thought about going to Pilates today, but I'm hurting too much and I have too much to do. I have laundry and dishes and all kinds of stuff to do today, and I really want to get my writing done. I am so close. Like, it just needs some more sprints. Hopefully I can finish up this week. Time for dinner. It's just ground lamb and the discs of fat from the tops of my bone broth. Some of it was tallow and some of it was ghee butter. A couple of jars of broth were actually from the arm roast, just the ground lamb. I actually like the bison better with the beef bone broth bits because it crumbles more, so it tends to absorb more of the melted fats. When I am eating just ground meat, I prefer just to do the ground lamb. Plus I like the flavor of lamb by itself. It reminds me of gyros. I wish I had some sour cream or something to put in there, but I can't eat that. I'm still hurting quite a bit. I'm probably gonna have wine tonight. Good morning. I need a haircut, yeah. Anyway, it is Wednesday, which means liver for breakfast, and this is in ghee butter, and it's a coffee day. Hopefully it will be a BM day. Typically with carnivore, you can expect not to have to go every day. That's just the way it works. In my case though, when I'm crampy, I feel like I should probably have to go eventually. It's not constipation, but yeah, hopefully I'll be able to go. If I don't go today, then I'll have coffee tomorrow and maybe that'll make me go. I have a dentist appointment this morning, so we'll see how that goes. But yeah, I drank the wine last night and then I woke up about 1:30 this morning with some pain, but I was able to get back to sleep. I hate pain. I am eating really early because I'm actually very hungry. I've been hungry because of the stress of the dentist appointment today. They put a crown on a very, very sensitive molar and they kept having to take it out and back in and out and back in before they cemented it because it was messing with my bite. That was hard. When they were done with that, I was shaken. Then they had to numb my lower jaw for some fillings. I was hungry several hours ago, but I couldn't eat because my whole jaw was numb. That's actually why I didn't record. I did have a BM right before my dentist appointment, so I did not have time to record about it. It was at a little after 9:30 and my dentist appointment was at 10, but it was normal. Well, almost normal, not quite normal, but close. I'm feeling better since then, digestively. They offered to numb that part, but then I would have struggled to figure out the bite being off or not. That's where I am. I've got bone broth in the Instant Pot right now, and I definitely want my strength to be able to ladle that out because that's hard. My arm gets really tired doing all that ladling. I want to make sure I have some energy with some food in my belly. hopefully I'm doing better and I won't need to drink any wine tonight. I don't want to. Wine is probably why I've needed those fillings. So when I was on keto, I had perfect teeth. I remember I had a dentist appointment where the dental hygienist, he said, "Oh, I can tell you floss every day. You have got perfect teeth and perfect gums." And I'm like, I never floss. I just don't eat sugar. I wasn't drinking wine at all. If I got glutened, I would drink some whiskey for the pain, but I haven't tried that with this condition. I don't know if that would aggravate it or not. Maybe I should try it, see if it helps or not. Good morning. Time for breakfast. I made bone broth yesterday, so I've got ground bison in beef bone broth bits, and this is in ghee butter. Probably gonna have to go ahead and make some tallow today because I go through ghee butter a little too fast. I do need some tallow because the ghee butter, I get those big jars, about $10 a piece. I go through a lot of it pretty quick. I need to supplement with the tallow, which is, I guess, equals to be about the same price, to be honest. I did need wine last night. It wasn't entirely because of cramping. My mouth was really hurting. It's still aching. I'm going to take some acetaminophen now, but even after acetaminophen yesterday, my mouth was just, I was in pain. It's still up here, but there's something about up here that triggers nausea when I have pain up here. So I was a little nauseous yesterday too, but it was triggered by the pain in my jaw. I'm doing okay today. I'm still a little crampy, but it's not bad. I've got a personal training session today. I thought that last week was my last one, but apparently I have some more. And we'll probably buy some more just so that I can get to the point where they think that I can handle going scuba diving, because I gotta get trained for that first. So just had a almost normal BM. Hopefully I'll feel a little better for the rest of the day because I was kind of crampy there for a little bit. That's it. Hopefully I'm good. Getting ready to go to my personal training session in about 30 minutes. Time to eat. I am having a couple of salmon fillets in ghee butter. I'm doing okay. I'm having some spasmy cramps. That's been off and on all day. We might get snow tomorrow, so I went out and bought an extra bottle of wine just in case I might need it. I did okay with the personal training. I feel like jelly. My muscles were did not want to work afterward. Definitely making myself stronger. At least it's not cardio. I know that cardio would probably send me running to the bathroom. At least there's not that. I'm not sure if I'm gonna need wine or not tonight. Hopefully not, but my mouth still aches from the dental work. I did take a acetaminophen. I don't know if Tylenol is gluten-free anymore, so it's a store-brand gluten-free acetaminophen. Hopefully that'll kick in soon. Good morning. I'm eating a little early this morning because hubby's coffee maker broke. Well, I mean, it's on, but it won't pull any water through the machine. I had to make my coffee so that I could make his coffee, and I'll probably go out and buy him a new machine today. So I'm having a second helping of ground bison and beef bone broth bits with ghee butter and my coffee. The reason why my coffee is different than his is because he drinks the decaf most of the time. And if I'm gonna be able to drink coffee at all, I want my caffeine. It's also snowing this morning. It's really pretty coming down. I love snow. It's just beautiful. I just hope that we don't have a snow day. They haven't called it yet. I did need wine last night, but it was mostly because of my jaw. I feel like I've been punched right here. It feels like somebody went. I haven't taken any acetaminophen yet this morning. I'll take it with the coffee. Even with the acetaminophen, like it helps, but to actually fall asleep, it was gonna keep me awake. So it kept waking me up in the night after the acetaminophen wore off. I kept waking up with jaw pain. It's the first time I've needed this in quite a while. At least this happened before taking the boys to school this morning, because it's still snowy and there's no snow day. Peanut butter cups. I do like Reese's. Hard to crunch that. My whole jaw still hurts on both sides. It wasn't watery, but very, very loose. Hence the anti-diarrheals, because I don't want it to get worse. No idea what caused it. And again, this is the same medication, the same anti-diarrheal. It's just the other one was also anti-gas, which I had bought by mistake. I never have a lot of gas problems anyway. This is just anti-diarrheal without the gas medicine in it. At least it waited until I got back from taking the boys to school and going to Target to buy a new coffee maker. Ooh, sugar snow, maple syrup, candy, heated at a specific temperature and drizzled on snow. I did that once when I was in Vermont, and that was a lot of fun. They served dill pickles with it because you can only handle so much sweetness until you just can't eat anymore. But if you eat a dill pickle in between, then suddenly you can handle more sweetness. Now I can't handle it at all. I guess technically just simply maple syrup, but like sugar snow candy. Still hard to chew. Let's play our game. What made me run to the bathroom today? Was it A, pain and stress from dental work? B, extreme muscle fatigue from my workout yesterday? C, a questionable spot on one of the salmon fillets that I ate last night? D, the fact that I've had wine 3 nights in a row because I was hurting? Or E, any of the above? Right answer, as always, is E. Congratulations to you winners. All right, time for dinner. Same as yesterday, a couple salmon fillets and ghee butter. I'm doing better. I'm not sure yet if I'm gonna need wine tonight. It all depends. I don't know, we'll see. I'll let you know tomorrow. But I was actually hungry a lot earlier, but the fish was still frozen. I had to wait for it to thaw out a little bit more. So I'm pretty hungry right now. I'm gonna eat. Good morning. They're talking in the background, so sorry about that. But it's time for breakfast. Bison in a mixture of ghee butter and the tallow. They're both discs from the bone broth. Still pretty sore. I took some Tylenol this morning, so that's starting to feel better. My jaw, it still hurts. It's like a huge bruise. I think I'm just gonna eat this ground meat mixture for the next several days because it did hurt to eat the salmon last night because there were bits that I chewed more than I probably needed to, and that aggravated the pain in my jaw. Time to eat. Bison and the beef bone broth bits with those tallow and ghee butter discs. Digestively, I'm feeling okay. I'm actually feeling fine. My muscles are still really sore. That's getting better. My mouth is getting a little bit better. I still think I might need the wine tonight. It was really painful earlier this morning, even after the acetaminophen. Hopefully I'm getting better. I say that all the time. And I will leave it here. Thank you so much for watching. I hope I've helped you. Please don't hesitate to ask me any questions down below in the comments. Also, don't forget to like and subscribe. And I will see you next week. Bye.